Big thanks to our sponsor, BetterHelp, for partnering with us and bringing us all together for this important conversation about mental health.
In our next episode, we will be featuring a special discussion with my former teammate, Steve Smith.
Appreciate that, bro.
We don't really talk in this type of dynamic.
Me and you don't talk at all.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, though.
Let's talk about it.
We'll talk about it. You want me to talk about it now?
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right.
I avoided you the whole 2 hours that you've been here because I wanted real kind of
Response, reaction.
Yeah.
First thoughts.
yes, sir.
Well, I'll just be completely transparent. One of the things that, thinking about and when BetterHelp asked us to do this, my first initial response was, hell no. And the reason why is because how much tension it was between me and you. And I think a lot of it had to do with outside influences, whether it's general managers, head coaches, offensive, quarterback coaches, like whatever the case may be. And yet, at the same time, we were two guys with the same common goal and desires and thoughts. And so I'll start off by saying, I need to apologize to you for being so distant and standoffish. I unfortunately was distant and standoffish because I felt my behavior of being distant gave me the opportunity to think that I can control things. Because being distant or trying to control things where you don't really feel like you can control things, where you start doing things, you overanalyze. And then while you overanalyze, you start thinking about all the little things that you can do that would have changed that outcome. Mm-hmm. Or some of the childhood trauma that you may had, and that's whether a parent overlooked you, felt unloved, unheard, unseen. And so all of those things, obviously before and prior to me doing a lot of deep digging and some counseling to really kind of realize some of the triggers and the behaviors I had, and a lot of the behaviors I had throughout my football career, had nothing to do with the Napoleon complex. It really had to do with I kept everyone at an arm's length.
I think with the dynamic with me and you, a regret that I have is you did not see an older version of myself. See what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I first got drafted to the Carolina Panthers, it was a lockout. There was a lot of team activity.
That thing was funky, wasn't it?
Yeah, oh my God. I didn't even, that was the first interaction to the NFL. So I was coming into a situation where I thought this was normal. You know what I'm saying? And then there was also a realization that Steve Smith requested a trade. And I'm like, yo, a young quarterback needs all the armor and artillery that he could possibly have, knowing a Triple Crown winner, the pulse of the Carolinas, the DNA of what this team and the mantra that it stood on with keep pounding, a person that embodied all that, he wants out. And my first assignment was really trying to convince you to come back, for you to believe in me and what I was trying to kind of be the new shift of winning. And I think through that time, I understood that for the first 3 years of my career, that was 2011, 12, and 13, I always had number 89 to rely on, right? But there was something about youth that you don't really always understand at that particular moment in time. I was wrong.
Oh, I know. I could have been better.
No, but the preface is this. I don't want nobody to hear this and say, well, you didn't have good teammates because they would have held you accountable. Hey, you should have had somebody in your camp to tell you, hey, bro, you're tripping. I did have that. I just put up a guard I put up, the blinders, I closed everything and closed everybody off. And it's crazy because even people today, I still deal with those traumatic issues because it comes from, alienation. It comes from isolation. It comes from having abandonment issues, not because of my parents, not because of, my family. It was literally, I was by myself.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you been around me and I've always prefaced or mentioned JUCO?
Yeah.
Like JUCO for me raised me, but it also awoken a side of me that still haunts me today.
Yeah.
It's like when something happens to me, I don't talk. And I bled on people that didn't even cut me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and now that I look back, so that's my situation was like, yo, I wish Smitty would have got the older version, the year 8, the year 9, because I would have understood him. I would have understood the better man that I needed to become, because communication in any relationship is first and foremost.
It's extremely important.
I did not do that.
Yeah, I get that.
And for the people who were trying to communicate with me, it was one of those things like, oh, I don't want to talk. Childlike, very immature. And I put the notion that my success was only predicated with wins and losses. So, all in all, with that type of dynamic, as men, where I came into the league when I was 22, I'm having this conversation with you at the age of 36. And it's crazy. I'll, cue that song, I Can See Clearly Now. But that's genuinely how I feel.
Yeah, that's dope.
And understanding like you, and I look back and I'm like, bro, I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
As we kind of shift gears. Things that I battle while playing, by living, was this one thing. I always wanted to be understood. Steve, for you, have you ever felt understood?
Man, that's a fantastic question. I think my natural response is no. And the reason why is I think I really haven't understood who I was until maybe the last couple of years ago. Like to really know, right? Because I had a counselor and when I played, I had a sports psychologist. And the sports psychologist was all about performance. How do we lock in for performance? How do we look at it as data, no emotions?
Right.
So that was great. But I didn't have a psychologist who I was able to kind of dig deep and start to pull up.
Unpack.
Pull up some of the things that were rooted inside of me that were causing me to be distant.
Childhood stuff or just
all.
Yeah.
If it's a ABC, it's D. All the above. Right?
Because a lot of times too, from the outside looking in, we would think that athletes, or in particular football players, y'all get it out on the field.
Oh yeah, you'd get it out on the field.
You said something like non-bacteria plants.
Yeah.
So you still holding on to the issue, but you like physically you got it out, but emotionally it's still
emotionally it's not still there.
Okay.
Because emotionally, if it was, I wouldn't be here today talking about it. See, to be able to get it out and be comfortable, you kind of got to sit in it.
Okay.
And so I've sat in it with a counselor, without a counselor. Without the counselor, it's been tough. Without the counselor, it really, you're left to do everything by yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what BetterHelp, why BetterHelp is such a unique company, is they allow your schedule to dictate how you can meet with a counselor. And I think that's extremely important because not everybody has the bandwidth to leave their job and go see a counselor for an hour and then drive back and then continue to work. And then also when you meet with that counselor too, and there's this emotional roller coaster that you either high off of or down, that you have to reset, recalibrate. So having a counselor and working with BetterHelp, that gives you an opportunity to really start to unpack. But people don't understand, when you unpack things, you also open up a box that you're not always sure what's inside. Emotionally. How am I going to respond? So I think that's why seeing a professional, using a professional is extremely important, because some of the things that you not sure that you experienced as a kid, how it impacts you, you could be a live wire and go out in the real world and somebody cuts you off or does something, and then you make a decision that can alter your life.
I battle with this. I was always able to turn to football as a unleashing of that rage. Like, you know what I'm saying? First down. I remember throwing you a mouse, a rat. That was our screen kind of. I'm like, bro, you just caught a 4-yard route, bro. And he got up, spent the ball, and then hit his head. And you can't really see his eyes because he played with a dark visor. He's like, bro, he's intense. Not just in the game, but in practice. Now, you start to realize, sorry for the scream, everybody, but you start to realize going into the real world, how do you, dare I say, mask it? How do you deal with that version of you that is capable of being triggered?
Well, part of it, is a little bit of self-control, right? Also, recognizing, which was 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. My counselor said, my real name, because that's what I like to go by outside of, said, Stevan, do you realize you're no longer in danger? I said, and I didn't know how to respond. And I sat on it for about 5 straight hours. The rest of the day, I'm driving in the whip, right there next to my leg. Yeah. Somebody cut me off or somebody driving up, and I'm like, this looked like danger to me. But it really hit me. It hit me hard. Like, you're no longer in danger. And I am very aware and know exactly who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm just now discovering the people around me. Right? You talk about, so that's village. Yeah. How's our village? For me, man, I got 3 people in my village that are necessary. Man, 1, I got that encouraging person. Mm-hmm. That sunshine and rainbow. Right? They always looking at the silver lining in everything, because that is not me. 2, I need someone who's gonna sit in it with me. They're not gonna give me no advice. They ain't gonna tell me I'm right or I'm wrong. They just gonna sit in the pig pen with me.
They in the foxhole with you.
They in the foxhole with you. And they in the foxhole with you, and y'all ain't got no guns, and they ain't gonna complain. They like, yo, well, just thoughts and prayers, right? And then the last, most important part, man, you need that problem solver. A legal problem solver. I have to emphasize that. A legal problem solver. Someone that can sit with you and help you either analytically or data-wise to go through and say, okay, this is how we do it. Yeah. And man, I got 3 people like that in my life that I've started really just kind of like, I'm talking about making sure they know what their role is, and I accept their roles, because their role has to do with who they are. Right? It's not like, oh, I'm picking them. It's their personality is who that is. And so because we go life be lifing, you got to go in there and ask some people like, man, I need some help with this. Or am I off base? Or you got the other person that's saying, you know what? Yeah, it's raining, but you got an umbrella.
That particular example hits home to me because for the people who have a lot or have a lot of responsibility, it's unfortunate that you won't find that second example until you find yourself in the pig slop, in the mud, in the trenches. And when you have crowned them or gave them that title of like, yo, you are important to me, I need you, whether directly or indirectly, now it's time for you to perform. And the worst thing that can happen for individuals like myself is you pack up and leave. And the dynamic of our relationship is now impacted forever because I needed you, not to counsel me, not to tell me that I was right, wrong, or indifferent. I needed you just as a person that's slaying in these jungles. I have comfort knowing that I got somebody to my side or somebody, that's guarding my six. And when that person is no longer there, it does something to you. How much of when you do these self diagnostics or self check-ins, have you ever really tapped into the thought of having an identity that's tied to football, and how did you separate the two?
Man, it's really tough. It's tough to really just kind of try to figure it out. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
But learning myself, though, that's what I had to do, is learn myself. Right? Self-evaluate. Go and just like really just like roll up your sleeves. Some people say empty the well, right? Flush it out, detox, detoxing, not drugs or any of that, but detoxing, like actually crying is getting toxins out of your body. It is a very tough dynamic because normally the person in the mirror, they ain't gonna really shoot you straight. Cause that's you. You ain't gonna look in the mirror and go, man, you was lazy today. You gonna look in the mirror and you didn't work out and you go, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, but I'm still good.
I can get it.
So just, you have to really discover and like, you got to put in that work on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Man, one thing I wanted to chime in and say, growing up and as they teach us how to be men and masculinity, you have to be strong, you have to be bold, you can't be weak, you can't take breaks, all of these things, especially aligning with sports too. When do you know and how do men ask for help? And what does that look like for each of you all? Sitting where you are now, it's like in this life of masculinity, when do you know to ask for help and how do you ask?
I think that's the hardest thing, especially when you're trained and it's deeply embedded in your brain to fight through circumstance. And let's be completely honest. What I went through, what Smitty went through, what Peggy goes through is completely different than the next person. We can try to find some similarities in it, but that emotion of saying, I'm not okay as a man, as a father, as a leader of your house, as a husband, as a boyfriend, as a business owner, as a brother, as a son, those things do not happen naturally in this world where we are already stereotyped of what a man should be. Nowadays, they call it being emotionally intelligent. And even when you are emotionally intelligent, the next phase is, how do I position or pose the question to others? Because how do I tell Peggy that today ain't the right day for me, bro?
For me, knowing who I was and knowing who I am today, one thing is very clear. I'm still the same person. My bank account may have changed. I got a little taller, lost some hair on top, but I'm still the same person. What's different about me is how I approach things, how I see them. Because sometimes people get it twisted that when you have heartbreak, that it's the end of it. Mm-hmm. Nah, let me tell you, I can tell you. Sometimes when you get your heart broken, it also fixes your vision. And you start seeing things differently. You start examining it in a different way. But you got to have people around you that can help you. And some of that isn't your homeboys, homegirls. It isn't. Some of it has to be a professional. Yeah. A therapist. I think that's essential. Because not every human being, especially one human being, can carry the weight of their stuff and then also yours.
So just to close out, right? And you talked about encouragement. How do we encourage more men to get here? And when I say here, it's men conversing. Yeah. This is a 10-year-old conversation that could have happened years ago. Yeah. And you bought.
It ain't no need to bring.
No, I'm wrapping it up to how we started, though, right? And both of you all have stuff in your toolbox that you didn't have 10 years ago. Yeah. Man. It's a beautiful thing to see.
All I had is hammers.
Exactly. So it's like
wrenches, no screwdriver, just like hammers.
How do y'all what's some things that you can encourage other men to actually really have this conversation, to talk?
I mean, you're already around each other, right? So having those conversations, checking in, we have it in it. I know we've had it in the league, especially with some of the guys that still live in Charlotte that I played on the same team with. As soon as someone, a football player they hear commit suicide, man, it's guaranteed within that week, ding, 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 ding. Because now guys are going, man, I need to do a wellness check. Don't allow a wellness check to be until you are unwell. You have to have those vulnerable conversations with people you trust, but you got to risk it. I say that now because I didn't want to risk it when I was younger. I couldn't. And I missed out on a lot of great relationships.
First off, to preface that it's going to take time to do, but I would challenge anybody, athlete, former athlete, in the working field in any degree, I challenge you to master your routine. There's a community everywhere that you look. Yeah. You just have to be willing to.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. Mm-hmm. So while you're mastering your routine, saying, hey, man, whether it's cardio, whether it's walking, whether it's, hey, I need to do weights. Hey, I want to go to a book club. Hey, I want to just go to happy hour. Doing certain things naturally brings on a world of its own. And with doing that, you'll realize that, hey, this person may not come from where you came from, but he or she is there as a valuable resource that you can build with.
Well, we have it, man. We just want to say thank you, a big thank you to BetterHelp, our sponsor for this segment, and to getting for getting all of us together actually to have this important conversation about mental health. So thank you so much. BetterHelp, Cam.
Well,
Smitty?
BetterHelp is amazing. Just what they be able to do, and just for me and my therapy, right, and what I've been through. You have these therapy sessions. For me, this was a therapy session.
Yeah.
Right, to be able to go backwards, right? Because a lot of times, I only look at the rearview mirror. Because when you look at the rearview mirror, you're in a car that's going forward. And so BetterHelp gave me the opportunity to look in the rearview mirror, not go backwards. And because of that, man, it's been a long time coming, right? We had so many battles on the field in front of the camera that, thanks to BetterHelp, us gave us an opportunity to kind of show the softer side. So I take a step, man, dap you up, dog.
Appreciate you, bro.